In the late 1800s, an American journalist from the South named Joel Chandler Harris penned a great truth in one of the classic children's books that he wrote. Harris wrote the wise words, "You can't run from trouble, 'cause there ain't no place that far." Everybody's been there and is probably going there again pretty soon. Just when we think we've got a good handle on things and that life is breaking our way, well, trouble comes around again. A few decades after Joel Harris, there was another American writer who gifted us a different perspective on the troubles that we all face. He was a writer of gospel songs named Jim Hill. As a young man, Jim had big dreams of becoming a professional opera singer. But just as the old journalist observed, trouble seems to always be hot on our heels. Jim worked hard at his craft. He practiced constantly and even auditioned for the Metropolitan Opera in New York, but never got anywhere near a role on stage. Financial challenges forced him to forego his operatic dreams and head off to business school. Soon after that, he was selling shoes for a living. But undaunted, Jim continued to sing and tried his hand at songwriting. After he became a Christian, he began to manage and sing tenor for the Golden Keys, which would go on to become a famous gospel group. Jim married a lovely young lady and seemed to finally be settling into that happy, fulfilling life he dreamed of. But, as so often happens, that's when trouble reared its ugly head again. One day at work, Jim received a phone call from his wife, who was frantic, in tears, and devastated. You see, her mother, who was only 50 years old, had just suffered a terrible, massive stroke. Jim's mother-in-law had survived, but the effects of the stroke were debilitating. Jim was still a fairly new Christian at the time, and his mother-in-law's health crisis was very troubling for him. He asked himself, why would God allow such a horrible thing to happen to such a good, sweet lady? Before his doubts could fester and grow, Jim decided to turn to his Bible. The verse that immediately stood out to him was Revelation 21:4. God shall wipe away every tear from their eyes, and there shall be no more death, nor sorrow, nor crying. There shall be no more pain, for the former things have passed away. Jim read and reread that verse and said to himself, wow, what a day that's going to be. The idea for a song based on that verse grew in his mind, and Jim quickly jotted down some lyrics based on that comforting assurance that the terrible, recurring troubles and sorrows of this world are only a temporary, passing thing. He wasn't sure the song was any good, but the next day, when he and his wife were visiting his sick mother-in-law, he decided to come close to her bed and sing it to her. During the very first verse, tears began to flow down her face. By the end of the first chorus, the side of her face left unravaged by the stroke had broken into a beautiful smile. By the end of the song, she had lifted her hand high above her sickbed, giving praise to the Lord. Later, the Golden Keys would record Jim's song. Then it was recorded by the Homeland Harmony Quartet and became a beloved classic. And a few years later, Jim Hill was inducted into the Southern Gospel Music Hall of Fame, in no small part because of that song he wrote for his sick mother-in-law. That beautiful, hope-filled song reminds us that Even though here on earth we can't run from trouble and pain, one day in heaven, God has promised to wipe every one of our tears away. What a day that will be, by Jim Hill.
There is coming a day when no heartache shall come, no more clouds in the sky, no more tears to dim the eye. All is peace forevermore on that happy golden shore. What a day, glorious day that will be. What a day that will be, when my Jesus I shall see, and I look upon his face, the one who saved me by his grace. When he takes me by the hand and leads me through the promised land. What a day, glorious day that will be. There'll be no sorrow there, no more burdens to bear, no more sickness, no more pain, and no more parting over there. And forever I'm gonna be with the only one who died for me. Oh, what a day, glorious day that will be. And what a day that will be, when my Jesus I shall see, and I look upon his face, the one who saved me by his grace. When he takes me by the hand and leads me through the promised land. Oh, what a day, glorious day that will be, that will be. What a day, glorious day that will be, that will be.